Investigation's findings are heartbreaking, infuriating, and deeply troubling. The misconduct and abuse is entirely inexcusable and has no place in soccer on or off the field. I think this report makes it clear that we need to make systemic changes at every level of our game.
5 of the 10 head coaches in the league were either fired or stepped down last season, including racing manager Christy Holly. He was fired for cause in August of 2021, but no more info was released. Tyler Griever joins us now with what the specific report alleges and how some of his former players are reacting to the news tonight.
We want to warn some of you that some of the details in this report are graphic in nature and may be very hard to hear. The report details how Christy Holly allegedly sexually assaulted former defender Erin Simon and further manipulated her. Former racing captain Michelle Betos now plays for Gotham, and she spoke with me tonight.
It's just, unfortunately been the story of our careers in this league.
Michelle Betos had to learn it again while captaining Racing Louisville FC. She says former teammate Erin Simon told her of Christy Holly's alleged sexual misconduct towards her around the time he was fired on August 31st, 2021.
Shock, and it was just deep pain for her, guilt for not knowing, guilt for being the captain of that team and not understanding that that was going on. And it was just sickening.
According to the report, Holly told Simon he'd touch her inappropriately for every mistake she made during a private film session. It accuses Holly of other instances of groping, masturbating in front of Simon, and sending sexual messages to her. Simon repeatedly told Holly to stop his advances and started bringing a teammate with her for meetings with him. It goes on to detail how he used that against her, so she confided in the team chaplain. When club officials eventually learned and confronted him, the report says Holly admitted it.
And I can't even imagine how she felt, because for me to even digest it, was gut-wrenching, never mind to have experienced it.
At first, Betos thought the club reacted swiftly by firing Holly for cause.
I was very impressed. And in retrospect, that is such a sad opinion, because of course that's what should have happened.
But there was more to learn. The report mentions a hot and cold temper as well as verbally abusive individual meetings. Betos says she now sees how Holly would manipulate players.
He was already planting in my head and other veterans' heads, but also coaches, other staff, what these players were like, so that when they did speak up, when they did have an issue, when they did say something, you almost fell back on that initial impression.
The veteran remembers 3 players going to current club president James O'Connor early last season to share concerns about Holly.
Those girls felt like the staff took Christy's side and didn't hear their complaints. And then from then on, Christy treated them really poorly. So it was this really vicious cycle of not having a place to go with your complaints, and really fostered an environment where the way he existed was allowed to happen.
The report also looked into Christy's history at Sky Blue FC, which is now Gotham. There, the report detailed allegations of verbal and emotional abuse, as well as a relationship with a player. Considering that past, Betos thinks more must be done to vet out coaches.
I was at Gotham for probably a week before I knew gross thing that Christy had done around here. Did you turn a blind eye? Whatever girls are in place there need to feel like if there's a problem, there's a safe place and a right place to go, and something's going to be done about it.
As for a formal response, we still do not have one from Racing Louisville FC. It has cited mutual non-disclosure agreements between the club and Holly as reasoning for that. The report states the club made no effort to modify those agreements and ultimately provided 41 documents. Tom?
Thank you, Tyler. And tonight, fans tell us they feel misled, disgusted, and heartbroken. We spoke with leaders of Racing Louisville FC's official supporters group, the Lavender Legion, who say the report is worse than they could have imagined, and they are disappointed in the team for not being transparent.
As a fan, it's really disappointing. You never want to think that, the team that you're rooting for is, covering anything. And, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but it's awful having to read about this stuff from a report rather than hearing it from the actual club or a representative.
Now, we'll be following this story closely in the coming days and have more details as they're released.